I'm Meg Oliver. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg made a very public apology Tuesday in the wake of the privacy scandal at the company he created. Zuckerberg faced tough questions on Capitol Hill in the first of 2 days of testimony about the way Facebook handles user data. It comes after the personal information of 87 million users ended up in hands of Cambridge Analytica. Nancy Cordes is on Capitol Hill.
The man in the middle of a firestorm over privacy led off with a full mea culpa.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
Grilling him were dozens of skeptical senators.
We've seen the apology tours before.
Who said Facebook has a history of jeopardizing user data.
After more than a decade of promises to do better, how is today's apology different?
So we have made a lot of mistakes in running the company. I think it's pretty much impossible, I believe, to start a company in your dorm room and then grow it to be at the scale that we're at now without making some mistakes. And because
the mistake that's engulfing him now, the harvesting of user information in 2015 by a third-party app posing as a personality quiz. The data was sold to Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm that worked for the Trump campaign.
When you discovered the Cambridge Analytica that had fraudulently obtained all of this information, why didn't you inform those 87 million?
We did take action. We took down the app, and we demanded that both the app developer and Cambridge Analytica delete and stop using any data that they had. They told us that they did this. In retrospect, it was clearly a mistake to believe them.
Some senators argued the problem is Facebook itself.
Your business model is to monetize user information, to maximize profit over privacy.
They said Facebook doesn't make it clear to users how their information is used and how to protect it.
Is Facebook being safe?
Senator, I think Facebook is safe. I use it and my family use it. I think everyone should have control over how their information is used. Every single time they choose to share something, they have a control right there about who they want to share it with.
Zuckerberg's decision to share appeared to pay off for him and the company. After a month-long slump, Facebook stock jumped 4.5% this afternoon, driving his net worth up by nearly $3 billion.
Nothing in life is free.
Utah Republican Orrin Hatch argued data collection comes with benefits for users of Facebook and Google.
And these great websites that don't charge for access, they extract value in some other way. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as they're upfront about what they're doing.
Nancy Cordes reporting. Also during his testimony, Zuckerberg said Facebook is cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling. Earlier, we talked to Nancy about whether this fact was well known.
It was not well known, and nor was the fact that some Facebook executives, according to Zuckerberg, have actually been interviewed by the special counsel, which is looking into Russian election meddling, which we know took place both on Facebook's site and elsewhere. Zuckerberg said he himself, Meg, has not been interviewed. And then he even went so far as to say that he thought that Facebook had been served a subpoena by the special counsel. He later modified that. He said he wasn't sure whether they had gotten a subpoena or not, and added that he didn't want to give a lot of details because this is obviously a very serious and ongoing investigation. But it was very interesting to learn that Facebook is actively working with the special counsel, and it leads you to wonder how many other tech companies are doing the same.
Absolutely. Nancy, we also heard from Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. He asked Zuckerberg about a lack of competition and if his company is a monopoly. Could we see lawmakers move to try to regulate Facebook and other technology companies?
Well, there's certainly a great deal of interest in that. There are many Democrats in particular who feel that this is an under-regulated industry, that it would help to have some privacy controls imposed by the federal government. They don't trust Facebook and some of these other companies to self-regulate. They say, look, Facebook has apologized time and time again and has made some token attempts to impose new privacy controls itself, but clearly they don't believe that the company has gone far enough. The reality, though, Meg, is that Congress is controlled by Republicans who have been working to roll back regulations, not impose new ones, and the likelihood that they're going to do something like that, especially in an election year where they're getting very little done as it is, as they prepare for those midterm elections coming up in half a year, it's pretty unlikely.
Zuckerberg will testify before the House on Wednesday. Nancy, how will that differ from what we saw on Tuesday?
Well, the House tends to be a little more freewheeling. The questions that Zuckerberg has been getting here in the Senate have by and large pertained to the issue at hand, to privacy, to Russia. But, he could get questions that go a lot further afield when he's going before the House. He does now have many hours of experience under his belt, and you could see him get more and more comfortable as this hearing went along. It's his first time testifying before Congress, and like anyone would be, he was a little nervous at the beginning. Who wouldn't be when suddenly they're confronted with 50 cameras in their face, right, before they even start to get grilled by senators. But he really started to loosen up, and in fact, when he was offered a break after a couple of hours by the Senate Commerce Committee Chairman John Thune, he actually said, no, I'm actually kind of enjoying this. Let's go on a little bit longer. And Thune said, okay, sure. So it's definitely something that Zuckerberg has gotten pretty comfortable with as the hours stretch on.
Nancy, finally, I need to ask you about that 4-inch cushion that Zuckerberg sat on in his Senate hearing. It's getting a lot of attention. What do we know about that?
Well, we have been doing some digging, Meg, because obviously this is something that has caught on social media, people asking whether Facebook used this cushion to make him look taller, look more imposing. We obviously know that a lot of these hearings come down to optics, but here's what I can tell you so far. I have spoken to a Senate Commerce Committee aide who says this is not something that was requested by Facebook. It's simply part of the setup of the room, that often folks who are testifying get these cushions, A, because it's more comfortable, and B, because it makes it easier to see them over these large desks that they sit behind. I also reached out to Facebook, and they basically said the same thing, that they did not ask for this cushion, that it was simply provided by the committee. So if we get more on this, Meg, you'll be the first to know. But,
okay.
No, it doesn't sound like there's a big grand scheme right now to make him look any more imposing than he is.
Well, we can always count on you to get to the bottom of it. Nancy Cordes, thank you very much.